Harris from Hamilton County Schools. Today we are going to be reading a new text called Rikki Tikki Tavi by Rudyard Kipling. So it is actually an excerpt from the Jungle Book. So what I want you guys to do is take some time to do a contiguous first read. So you're just going to read straight through Rikki Tikki Tavi. Make sure you do look at the background. This text is a little bit complex in that it uses some language that is not exactly what we would use today because it was written a long time ago. And if you're not sure like what a mongoose looks like or what a cobra looks like, you might Google it before you read, though the background does give you some good information. So go ahead and do a contiguous first read, and then we're going to do a close read of a couple of sections of the text. Pause me while you're doing your first read and press play when you're ready to go to the close read. All right, so we're going to look at paragraph 1. So I'm going to read it out loud. And I want you to think about what characters describe the setting in this paragraph. This is the story of the Great War that Rikki Tikki Tavi fought single-handed through the bathrooms of the big bungalow in Sagali Cantonment. Darzy, the tailor bird, helped him, and Chuchundra, the muskrat, who never comes out into the middle of the floor, but always creeps around by the wall, gave him advice. But Rikki Tikki did the real fighting. All right, so what words describe the setting in this paragraph? That's what you were supposed to be doing. So how do these words help you visualize the setting? Just jot some ideas down. What are you picturing? And then finally, why did the author include these descriptions? All right, now we're going to look at paragraph 18. So as I read it out loud, I want you to think what words describe the setting in this paragraph. Then Rikki Tikki went out into the garden to see what was to be seen. It was a large garden, only half cultivated, with bushes as big as summer houses of Marshall Neal roses, lime and orange trees, clumps of bamboos, and thickets of high grass. Rikki Tikki licked his lips. "This is a splendid hunting ground," he said, and his tail grew bottle-brushy at the thought of it, and he scuttled up and down the garden, snuffing here and there till he heard very sorrowful voices in a thorn bush. All right, so you're supposed to be thinking about what words describe the setting. Now I want you to think, how does this help you visualize the setting? What are you picturing? And why did the author include these descriptions? All right, so I want us to look at paragraph 18 with a different view now. So same paragraph, I'm going to read it out loud again, and I want you to think what words describe the character in this paragraph. So what are you learning about Rikki Tikki in this paragraph? Then Rikki Tikki went out into the garden to see what was to be seen. It was a large garden, only half cultivated, with bushes as big as summer houses of Marshall Neal roses, lime and orange trees, clumps of bamboos, and thickets of high grass. Rikki Tikki licked his lips. "This is a splendid hunting ground," he said, and his tail grew bottle-brushy at the thought of it, and he scuttled up and down the garden, snuffing here and there till he heard very sorrowful voices in a thorn bush. So you're supposed to be thinking about what words describe the character of Rikki Tikki in this paragraph. So what is the character doing in response to the setting? And how does the main character feel about the setting? So the question that you answered before, what is the character doing in response to the setting? Like physically, what is he doing? That should tell you how does he feel about the setting. All right, now we're going to look at paragraph 30. I'm going to read it out loud, and I want you to be thinking about what words describe Rikki Tikki. Rikki Tikki knew better than to waste time in staring. He jumped up in the air as high as he could go, and just under him whizzed by the head of Nagaina, Nag's wicked wife. She'd crept up behind him as he was talking to make an end of him, and he heard her savage hiss as the stroke missed. He came down almost across her back, and if he had been an old mongoose, he would have known that then was the time to break her back with one bite. But he was afraid of the terrible lashing return stroke of the cobra. He bit indeed, but did not bite long enough, and he jumped clear of the whisking tail, leaving Nagaina torn and angry. All right. What do these words tell us about Rikki Tikki? What did you learn from the descriptions in that paragraph? And why did the author include these descriptions of Rikki Tikki? All right, last but not least, we're going to look at paragraph 61. As we read paragraph 61 out loud, I want you to think about what words describe Rikki Tikki. Then he jumped. The head was lying a little clear of the water jar under the curve of it, and as his teeth met, Rikki braced his back against the bulge of the red earthenware to hold down the head. This gave him just 1 second's purchase, and he made the most of it. Then he was battered to and fro as a rat is shaken by a dog. To and fro on the floor, up and down, and around in great circles, but his eyes were red, and he held on as the body cart whipped over the floor, upsetting the tin dipper and the soap dish and the flesh brush, and banged against the tin side of the bath. As he held, he closed his jaws tighter and tighter, for he made sure he would be banged to death, and for the honor of his family, he preferred to be found with his teeth locked. He was dizzy, aching, and felt shaken to pieces when something went off like a thunderclap just behind him. A hot wind knocked him senseless, and red fire singed his fur. The big man had been wakened by the noise and had fired both barrels of a shotgun into Nag just behind the hood. All right, so you're supposed to be highlighting or annotating words that describe Rikki Tikki in this paragraph. Next, what do these words tell us about Rikki Tikki? What can you infer based on those words? And finally, why did the author include these descriptions of Rikki Tikki? All right, and then for our final question, this is the one where I want you to use evidence from the text. I want you to write a full paragraph. How does the setting help show the characteristics of Rikki Tikki Tavi? All right, I'm going to say that again. How does the setting help show the characteristics of Rikki Tikki Tavi? Have a wonderful rest of your day.